Hey folks, it's Steve with some random stuff, and here I am back in the garage for part 2 of my Garmin upgrade LifeScope installation project, my Champion 196. In part 2, I want to kind of go over the power connections from each of the units and the hardware to the battery, and then kind of go over the final installation of how everything looks on the boat. If you missed part 1, go ahead and check out my channel, hit that like and subscribe button while you're there, and look for future updates on the LifeScope system and power usage when I actually get out on the water and try this stuff out for the first time. As far as the power system goes, what I'm using is this marine grade 2-strand wire I purchased from West Marine here locally, and I'm using the 10 gauge wire for the GLS-10 box for the Panoptix, and then 12 gauge wire for each of the graphs. My existing 106 SV, I pulled new 12 gauge wire last year when I installed that unit, and then I ran new 12 gauge wire for the new unit on the console. So anyways, let's get into it. We'll show you the battery compartment, show you my connections, and go from there. So stay tuned. All right, so here's my battery compartment. You can see I'm running the Ionic lithium batteries, and the nice thing about this setup is one, it has the app that you can download onto your phone, and you can see here I have my starting battery, which is at 91%, and then bank 2 and bank 3, which are my trolling motor batteries, at 80%. This is kind of where I left it, and I fished a couple weeks ago, fished an 8-hour tournament, and that's what's remaining after fishing for 8 hours on the lake. So they're really reliable. I had them for probably over a year, and no problems there. Also down here I have the Ionic charger, and then something to consider is you can see the multiple battery terminals on there. That's an additional items from Ionic. Just mounts to the existing post and gives you a lot more options. Gives you three posts total on each side for positive and negative. And it was fairly inexpensive to do that. It just kind of makes it easier to connect all your wires, you know, having everything stacked on top of each other. Now you can see the down here I have the GLS-10 wire. These are the 10 gauge 2-strand for positive and negative, and then I have the console on the bow, 12 gauge 2 wires for each of the units, and I ran those all separately. This yellow wire in the back is the positive that goes to the front light socket for my Gobi light, and which I mentioned in the first part 1. I had to run separate wire for the Gobi light because the power requirement for that light on the spotlight, you need a larger gauge diameter than what comes standard on the boat, otherwise it didn't work. You also notice that I ran everything directly to the battery. I know some guys talk about running the GLS-10 to a switch, and I do have that option. I can connect it to that Perca switch right there if I need to, but I wanted to try this out first. And one of the concerns I think some people have is that the black box may drain the battery when it's not in use. And I'm here to tell you that there is zero power usage right now, and zero draw on the battery. You can see here 0 amps, 0 watts. As this boat sits here stationary in storage in the garage, no output. It's been sitting at 91% for, since I brought it home from the lake 2 weeks ago. So no power usage there. If there is another reason why you need to connect those power wires directly to a switch for the LifeScope box, let me know in the comments. I don't want to damage that box since it's so expensive, but if there's another reason why that needs to be done, let me know. I also have the ground wire that goes to the black box and the 106 SV connected on there as well. So that's my battery setup. And I guess now we'll get into kind of the final installation here. I'm gonna do a walkthrough really quick. Climb up onto the boat. One of the questions I see I ask a lot of guys who keep their graphs on the boat while in transit, while on your highway, is how to keep these covers on. And they click on pretty tight, but for added security, I went ahead and bought these super size twisty ties. One for the front, one for the back, and they're on there pretty tight. So let's go ahead and power everything up. I'll show you the power usage draw for all the equipment, and you can see all the boat's all cleaned up and installed, and we'll get to the front in a few minutes. So hang on a second and I'll get everything powered up. All right, here we go. Got both units powered up, and cycled on the live scope really quick, and then back to the main menu. And now you can see on my Ionic battery app that the current draw is 3 amps, and I'm running at 40.5 watts of discharge. So that tells me how much these units are currently just sitting here on the boat. Now, once I get on the water, we'll do this again. We'll do an update when I get it actually on the lake and see what the draw is with everything actually running, with the transducers on and such. So stay tuned for future videos on that. That gives you an idea of the 2 units. And so we'll go to charts. I'll just hit the fishing chart. Let's see here. I haven't actually gone through any of the settings on these yet, so bear with me. What I did want to show you really quick on here is the current voltage is 3.1 volts. I think at the battery, it's 3.3 volts. And generally what I do is when I have the transducer out of the water is I hit the power button here and hit enable sonar, or power button disable sonar, so that you're not burning up the transducers when it's out of the water. So that's something I generally do. And as you can see on this graph, this is network to the front. I have the Panoptix on here, and so I can go to Panoptix if I want to. Of course, that's not in the water. And so once I get on the water, I'll finish setting everything up, and I still have to program the presets here on this console unit. So that's that one. And let's take a walk up to the front. Now again, my Panoptix light box is down here in the locker, kind of a bit buried with all my stuff right now. And I'll walk up to the front, and here's my 106 SV Ultra. I can see how I've got it mounted up here above the trolling motor. And again, one of the things I ran into previously is just how the trolling motor cable kind of lays when the trolling motor is down. And so it kind of comes down and kind of wraps around the side of my mount. So I kind of got it fairly centered, but it is a little offset. And then of course I had to remount the hydrowave there. And so this is all working. And the one thing I did notice through the installation process, I had mentioned the Gobi light that I use in the front socket there. That when I put that light in there, I had to keep in mind the location of the transducer to the light pole so that they didn't interfere with each other. I only use that light pole at night during the summertime, so it's not too often that I'll have that problem. I have LED lights for running normally, so I don't typically use that light pole anyways. So that's the installation. Really pretty simple. The only thing I think I have to do left now is run the Active Captain app. You see there on the app, on the graph, and update the software, make sure everything is current, and then get on the water and check it out. And I think that's probably about it. So thanks for watching. All right, folks, so thanks for watching. This should about wrap up the installation. Now it's just time to get on the water. Christmas is less than a week away, so it'll probably be, hopefully by New Year's, I get on the lake and try everything out. Check out the power usage. I'll do a video when I do get on the water, let you know how things are going, and then we'll go through the settings and see what I can do. Again, this is kind of my first experience with LiveScope. I've never had it before and never been on a boat that had it, so kind of a steep learning curve. I'll have to go through and figure out the settings and how I want to do it based on our current lakes, and we'll see what happens. So Again, if you like this information, go ahead and hit this like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll talk to you guys later. Thanks a lot.